Hi there, and welcome. Before we dive in, I want to say, if you've ever felt overwhelmed, isolated, or just not okay, this story is for you. It's not dramatic, it's not attention-seeking. It's human. Today's story is called, How Texting I'm Not Okay Changed Everything. Because sometimes, the smallest act like reaching out can open the door to healing, connection, and even purpose. Let's begin. The blinking cursor mocked Amelia. Each flash felt like a judgment, a spotlight illuminating her inadequacy. She had been staring at the blank message field for what felt like hours, the weight of her unspoken feelings pressing down on her chest like a physical burden. The three words swam before her eyes, I'm not okay. So simple, yet so impossibly difficult to type. Years of ingrained self-reliance, of projecting an image of strength and competence, fought against the vulnerability that now threatened to overwhelm her. She told herself it was silly, dramatic, attention-seeking. But the truth, a cold, sharp shard of glass lodged deep within her, was that she was drowning. Drowning in a sea of anxiety, of relentless self-doubt, of a loneliness so profound it felt like a phantom limb, constantly aching for connection. The carefully constructed facade she presented to the world, the successful career woman, the witty conversationalist, the supportive friend, was cracking, crumbling under the pressure. And beneath it, the raw, wounded core of her being cried out for help. Amelia's fingers hovered over the keyboard. Who could she trust with this truth? Who wouldn't judge, dismiss, or offer platitudes that felt like a slap in the face? Her parents, though loving, were from a generation that viewed mental health struggles as a sign of weakness, something to be overcome with sheer willpower. Her siblings were caught up in their own lives, their own dramas, their own carefully curated online personas. Co-workers? Absolutely not. That would be professional suicide. The thought of revealing her vulnerability in the cutthroat world of corporate law sent a shiver of fear down her spine. And then, almost as a reflex, her mind landed on Liam. Liam, her best friend since kindergarten. Liam, the one person who had seen her at her worst and loved her anyway. Liam, the steady, unwavering presence in her life, the calm in her storm. But even with Liam, there was hesitation. A lifetime of masking her true feelings had created a deep-seated fear of burdening others. What if he was busy? What if he was dealing with his own problems? What if he simply didn't have the bandwidth to handle her emotional baggage? The internal debate raged, a relentless tug-of-war between her need for connection and her fear of rejection. Finally, with a deep breath and a silent prayer, she typed the words, I'm not okay. She added a simple smiley face, a feeble attempt to soften the blow, to signal that this wasn't a full-blown crisis, just a wobble. A momentary lapse in her usual stoicism, she hit send. The seconds ticked by, each one stretching into an eternity. Amelia stared at her phone, her heart pounding in her chest. The message sat there, a silent plea for help in the vast digital wilderness. Was it too much? Had she made a mistake? Should she have just kept it all bottled up, like she always did? The familiar voice of self-criticism began to whisper in her ear, amplifying her insecurities, magnifying her fears. He's probably busy, it hissed. He probably thinks you're being dramatic. He probably regrets ever becoming your friend. She closed her eyes, willing the negative thoughts away, but they persisted, relentless and unforgiving. And then, a ping. Her phone buzzed and her eyes flew open. A message from Liam. Her breath caught in her throat as she unlocked her phone and read the words. I'm here. What's going on? Relief washed over her in a tidal wave, so powerful it almost brought her to her knees. The simple acknowledgement, the unwavering support, was enough to crack the dam that had been holding back her emotions for so long. Tears streamed down her face, tears of relief, of gratitude, of pent-up sadness finally released. She took a deep breath and began to type, slowly, hesitantly, pouring out her heart to the one person she trusted most in the world. She told him about the crushing anxiety, the relentless self-doubt, the overwhelming loneliness that had been consuming her. She told him about the pressure she felt to maintain her perfect facade, the fear of failure, the constant striving for an unattainable ideal. She told him everything, holding nothing back, allowing herself to be completely vulnerable, completely honest. And as she typed, she felt a weight lifting, a burden easing. The simple act of sharing her pain, of knowing that she wasn't alone, was profoundly healing. Liam listened, without judgment, without interruption. He didn't offer solutions or advice, he simply held space for her, allowing her to express her feelings without shame or guilt. He responded with empathy, with compassion, with unwavering support. He reminded her of her strengths, of her resilience, of her inherent worth. He told her that it was okay to not be okay, that everyone struggles sometimes, that seeking help was a sign of strength, not weakness. And he offered to come over, to sit with her, to just be there. Amelia hesitated. The thought of seeing him in person, of revealing her vulnerability face to face, was daunting. But the loneliness was a stronger force, the need for human connection more compelling than her fear of judgment. She agreed. Within minutes, Liam was at her door. He didn't say anything, he simply wrapped her in a hug, a warm, comforting embrace that conveyed more than words ever could. They sat on her couch, in comfortable silence for what felt like hours. Amelia cried, she talked, she vented, she raged. And Liam listened, patiently, attentively, offering words of comfort and support when needed. He didn't try to fix her, he simply held her hand, reminding her that she wasn't alone, that she was loved, that she was worthy of happiness. As the night wore on, Amelia began to feel a shift within her. The crushing weight of anxiety began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of calm, of hope, of possibility. The loneliness receded, replaced by the warmth of human connection, the reassurance of unconditional love. She realized that vulnerability wasn't a weakness, but a strength. That asking for help wasn't a sign of failure, but a testament to her courage. And that true friendship was a gift, a lifeline in the storms of life. In the days and weeks that followed, Amelia continued to work on her mental health. She started therapy, she practiced mindfulness, she made time for self-care. She learned to set boundaries, to say no, to prioritize her own well-being. She continued to lean on Liam for support, but she also learned to be her own advocate, her own source of strength. She realized that healing wasn't a linear process, that there would be ups and downs, good days and bad days. But she also knew that she wasn't alone, that she had the resources and the support she needed to navigate the challenges that lay ahead. And it all started with 3 simple words: I'm not okay. Those words, spoken in vulnerability and trust, had opened the door to healing, to connection, to a deeper understanding of herself and the world around her. They had transformed her life, reminding her that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, there is always help, and there is always love. The experience taught her a valuable lesson. True strength lies not in pretending to be perfect, but in embracing our imperfections, in asking for help when we need it, and in allowing ourselves to be vulnerable with those we trust. And that, she realized, was a truly healthy way to live. She began volunteering for a crisis text line, wanting to offer the same support she received to others. She realized her experience could help people going through similar struggles. One evening, several months later, Amelia received a text from an unknown number. Hesitantly, she opened it. The message read, "I'm not okay." A wave of familiar emotions washed over her: empathy, compassion, a fierce determination to help. She took a deep breath and began to type, "I'm here, what's going on?" She knew more than ever the power of those simple words. They were a lifeline, a beacon of hope in the darkness, a reminder that even in the midst of despair, connection is possible, healing is possible, and life, in all its messy, imperfect glory, is still worth living. Her work at the crisis text line became a passion. She listened to countless stories of heartbreak anxiety, depression, and despair. She offered words of comfort, support, and encouragement. She helped people find resources, connect with therapists, and develop coping mechanisms. She witnessed firsthand the transformative power of human connection, the resilience of the human spirit, and the unwavering hope that persists even in the face of unimaginable suffering. She also learned to set boundaries for herself, to avoid burnout, and to prioritize her own well-being. She knew that she couldn't pour from an empty cup, that she needed to take care of herself in order to effectively care for others. She continued to practice mindfulness, to exercise regularly, and to spend time with loved ones. She also made sure to seek therapy herself, to process her own emotions, and to address any lingering trauma from her past. She understood that being a mental health advocate meant being vulnerable, being honest, and being willing to share her own story. She knew that her experiences could inspire others, could give them hope, and could empower them to seek help. Amelia also started a blog, sharing her journey with anxiety and depression. She wrote about her struggles, her triumphs, her setbacks, and her breakthroughs. She offered practical tips for managing anxiety, coping with depression, and cultivating self-compassion. She also shared stories of other people who had overcome mental health challenges, highlighting their resilience, their strength, and their unwavering hope. Her blog quickly gained a following, attracting readers from all over the world. People resonated with her honesty, her vulnerability, and her unwavering optimism. They left comments, shared their own stories, and offered words of support and encouragement. Amelia created a community, a safe space for people to connect, to share, and to heal. One day, Amelia received an email from a young woman named Sarah. Sarah wrote that she had been struggling with anxiety and depression for years, but had always been too afraid to seek help. She had stumbled upon Amelia's blog and had been deeply moved by her story. She wrote that Amelia's words had given her the courage to finally reach out for help, to schedule a therapy appointment, and to start her own journey towards healing. Amelia was overwhelmed with emotion. She had never imagined that her story could have such a profound impact on someone else's life. She realized that her vulnerability had become her superpower, that her struggles had become her strength, and that her pain had become her purpose. She responded to Sarah's email, offering words of encouragement and support. She also shared resources, including a list of therapists in Sarah's area, links to online support groups, and information about crisis hotlines. She encouraged Sarah to be patient with herself, to celebrate her progress, and to never give up hope. She also reminded Sarah that she was not alone, that there were millions of people who understood what she was going through, and that there was always help available. Sarah wrote back, thanking Amelia for her kindness and her support. She wrote that she felt hopeful for the first time in a long time, that she was excited to start her therapy journey, and that she was grateful to have found Amelia's blog. Amelia smiled. She knew that Sarah had a long road ahead of her, but she also knew that she had the strength, the resilience, and the support she needed to overcome her challenges. And Amelia knew that she would be there for her, every step of the way. Years passed. Amelia continued to work as a lawyer, but her passion for mental health advocacy grew stronger with each passing day. She became a sought-after speaker, sharing her story at conferences, schools, and community events. She wrote a book about her experiences, offering practical advice and inspiring stories of hope. She also launched a non-profit organization dedicated to providing mental health resources to underserved communities. Her organization offered free therapy, support groups, and educational programs. It also worked to raise awareness about mental health issues, to reduce stigma, and to promote early intervention. Amelia's work touched countless lives, inspiring people to seek help, to prioritize their mental health, and to live their lives to the fullest. She became a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in a world that often felt dark and overwhelming. One day, Amelia received an invitation to speak at the United Nations. She was asked to share her story with world leaders, to advocate for mental health policies, and to inspire global action. Amelia was honored and humbled by the invitation. She knew that this was an opportunity to make a real difference, to change the world, and to create a future where mental health is valued, prioritized, and accessible to all. She prepared her speech carefully, pouring her heart and soul into every word. She spoke about her own struggles with anxiety and depression, about the transformative power of human connection, and about the urgent need for global action. She shared statistics, stories, and solutions. She challenged world leaders to prioritize mental health, to invest in mental health services, and to create policies that promote well-being. She concluded her speech with a call to action, urging everyone to be kind, to be compassionate, and to be a voice for those who are struggling in silence. Her speech was met with a standing ovation. World leaders were moved by her honesty, her vulnerability, and her unwavering commitment to mental health. They pledged to take action, to prioritize mental health in their countries, and to work together to create a healthier, more equitable world. Amelia's work had come full circle. She had started with 3 simple words: "I'm not okay." Those words had transformed her life, had inspired her to help others, and had ultimately changed the world. She had become a testament to the power of vulnerability, the strength of resilience, and the unwavering hope that persists even in the face of unimaginable suffering. And she knew that her journey was just beginning. Thank you so much for listening. If this story touched your heart, even just a little, I hope you remember this. It's okay to not be okay. Reaching out doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Whether you're the one sending the message or the one receiving it, your presence, your kindness, your words, they matter. If you're struggling, please don't carry it alone. Text someone. Call someone. Say the words, "I'm not okay." And if someone reaches out to you, be the Liam in their story. Listen, without judgment, and just be there. Because sometimes, the smallest messages can change everything. If this story resonated with you, feel free to share it, leave a comment, or reach out to someone you trust today. You're not alone. And you never have to be.